Tonight, you are saying if we take the wrong turn now, we risk subjecting people to 2 decades of the Tories. By the wrong turn, you mean Jeremy Corbyn, don't you?
By the wrong turn, I mean Labour turning in on itself and talking to itself rather than taking the fight to the Conservatives. That's what happened in the 1980s when we were facing that second-term Tory government and we left the pitch clear for Margaret Thatcher to bulldoze her way through Labour communities. I'm saying
but does
if we
that
do
mean
that
Jeremy Corbyn
again, we will let down millions of people if we do that again. No, it means Labour turning in on itself, fighting each other, and that would be a grave mistake.
So if you think he lacks credibility, how could you serve in his shadow cabinet?
I will always serve the Labour Party. You know me, Christian. I've served it all my life and will continue to do so. And actually,
but you're saying
I think there's an onus on everybody coming out of this contest to knit Labour back together, to bind it back together so that we can be a strong opposition and take the fight to the real enemy, the Conservative Party.
So you could defend his economic plans, could you? Because that's what you'd have to do if you were in the shadow cabinet, even though you think they're crazy.
Well, in a leadership election, individuals put forward their own case, their individual case. But as you know, politics isn't about individuals just imposing their will on the entire party. Plans would have to be debated at shadow cabinet and then in the wider parties.
Your critics in the Labour Party, you know, particularly on social media, they always talk about you flip-flopping. You know, they say you were opposed to the welfare cuts, but you abstained on them. You said don't attack Jeremy Corbyn, but then you said he lacked credibility. I mean, do you plead at all guilty to any of that?
I think you probably need to spend less time on social media, Christian, and talking to people.
That's certainly true, yeah.
Because, well, you know, I moved Labour's position on the welfare bill actually to a position of opposition, because that's what it was. It wasn't strong enough for my liking, but I moved Labour's position. But the choice I faced was I prepared to resign from the shadow cabinet and plunge Labour into a civil war? Well, I wasn't prepared to do that because I've always put the party first, and I make no apology for that. And because I've always done that in my career, I can turn round to the Labour Party on September the 13th and say, you know what, the loyalty that I've always shown to all of you, I now expect it back from you. And my argument is, I can unite the party. I can take Labour forward as a united force coming out of this leadership election. And I think that message is a message that's hitting home with many Labour members as they come to vote.
One area where a lot of Labour voters want you to flip-flop is on Iraq, because you have always said you would not apologise for your decision to vote for the war in Iraq. Is that still your position? Because obviously the Corbyn side of the party don't just want to apologise, they want to apologise for what they say was a deception.
Well, maybe some of those people are implying that we did it for the wrong reasons. I can just say to you that I agonised about that decision, and in the end the reason I voted for military action was because the leader of the Iraqi Kurds came to Parliament and pleaded with us not to back down. He said that if you leave Saddam emboldened, that will just be misery for our people. And I think, you know, what they may not really be fair about, the people who make those claims, is that this isn't a kind of black or white situation. If we had left Saddam in place at that time, other people would have suffered. You know, there wasn't a kind of easy answer, was there? So I would say let's wait for the publication of the Chilcot report. It is essential that it is published with the minimum of delay now, because I understand the frustration of those families. Once that report is published, once we see that definitive account, then will be the right time to make the right reckoning. And if apologies need to be made, then they should be. But all I can say is I acted for the right reasons throughout.
Now, on Friday, your campaign chief wrote to the Labour Party an astonishing letter calling into question the integrity of the election and saying that, you know, there were fears that thousands of Tory infiltrators were now involved in this election. He demanded a meeting tomorrow, and that meeting has been upgraded, we understand. It's now going to involve you and the other candidates meeting Harriet Harman. What is your evidence that there are thousands of infiltrators?
Well, I wouldn't overplay this because, you know, we are trying to get clarification on how the party is dealing with it. But no, we're not saying that, you know, we'll challenge the rules. Not at all. It's just important at this stage, a few weeks away from the decision, that all the candidates have confidence in the way applicants to vote are being vetted.
Do you have confidence? Do you have confidence in the integrity of the process now?
I want to be more assured, let me put it that way.
Because so you don't have confidence?
Well, let me make the point I was going to put to you. I was at a meeting in Milton Keynes yesterday where supposedly a Labour members event, an individual stood up who I subsequently learned was a Conservative councillor who had in fact already voted in our leadership election. Now, there is evidence that people like him have voted. I do not want members of the Conservative Party deciding the future of the Labour Party. I hope you'll understand that that's a pretty legitimate feeling.
Completely, but it's an astonishing thing what you've just said. I mean, I'm asking you a very simple question. Do you have confidence in the election? And you're unable to say, yes, you have confidence in it.
No, I have confidence. No, yes, I'm saying that. I have confidence in it, as long as we get clarification on how this very small number of applications that have been made on a fraudulent basis, as long as they are dealt with properly. Just
finally, to clarify on that then, Michael Dugar raised the question of legal challenge. Are you ruling out your involvement in any legal challenge on this result?
Yes, I'm ruling it out, and he didn't say that, to be honest. He simply said that if these issues aren't clarified, other people might wish to do that.
Andy Burnham, thanks very much.